All right. All right. Let's see. What's up, everybody? It's been a little bit since I did a video, any type of lesson. Today I'm just going to teach a simple entry method. It's very simple. Um, let's not overcomplicate trading. Let's keep it very simple, very dumbed down, and let's really try to keep our mindset right, right? So I'm just going to teach a very simple concept, right? Don't overthink it. Like anything in trading, you will not always win with this concept, but it gives you a great risk reward, a very good probability, as long as all the stars align. When I say all the stars align, you still need to do the daily chart and your criteria for the gap short. This simply is a gap short entry method. There are certain times where you're not going to get an entry and you're going to miss the perfect gap short, but you're going to miss plays all the time, right? If you could accept that you're going to miss plays because it's not lining up for your entry method, then you will be in a better position than most people that get FOMO that randomly enter a stock. Okay. So the entry method has to do with two time frames for the method. Daily context. Is this a short? Why? Right? Gap and crap. Why? Bag holders. Right? Dilution. Right? History of failed gaps. Right? Now, context. We figured out the daily chart. We're short biased. Okay? Don't overcomplicate it. Okay? Don't, I was thinking the other day, people these days are making so much criteria, and I ask myself why. If I made so much criteria, why would I do so? Well, because I'm fearful of losing. So the more criteria I put, the higher probability I am probably in trades, but I'll trade way less, miss a ton of plays because I'm scared to lose. So I can't. My criteria is so tight that I'm scared to lose. So don't overcomplicate it. Right, 4 or 5 criterias, take the trade. Right, not 20 of them. Right. So, sorry, the fridge is open. It's beeping. All right. So daily context is right. Now we gotta go. One second. Daily context is right. Now we got to go to what? Entry method, risk, price target. Simple. Don't overcomplicate it. It should be so easy. The hard part is making the right decisions every day and waiting for the play to come to what? You. So, what is it's the 20 SMA, simple moving average, and it has to do with the 1 minute and the 5 minute. Okay? If the context is right and we are deviated off the 5 minute, you could use the 1 minute lower low, lower high entry, risk previous high as your risk. And it should go down to the 5 minute. But if our context on the daily says all day fade, we're what? It should fail the 5 minute and then break down to our what? Price target or end of day. Now, API from the other day, it was opening at the 5 minute. It wasn't deviated off the 5 minute. So we don't use the 1 minute. We're going to use the 5 minute. Breakdown, lower high, short. This is a wider risk. Remember, people want to tighten their risk so much. Not every trade is going to give you what? Tight risk, right? So some trades you might get a 2 to 1. Some trades you might get a 5 to 1. Some trades maybe you get a 10 to 1. But on average you get 3, 4 to 1. Right? Realistic, easy. Trading's difficult because people want to get 50 to 1, right? And they're just making it a lot difficult for themselves, a lot more difficult. So we're deviated off the 5. I'm sorry, we're not deviated off the 5. So we're going to use the 5 minute 20 SMA breakdown. Daily chart makes sense. Context, all my criteria fits. Breaks down, short of pop, high day risk. Right? If it was 5 minute was down here, if it was 5 minute was down here, we would use the 1 minute for entry method because our bias. Right? It's very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. We're just using the 20 SMA as a trend break, as a backside tool, as long as the daily chart says this should fade all day or not fade all day. This should have a huge pullback, but I'm not going to hold it to the end of the day because it's not an all day fader. But I could predict a good risk reward, big pull, right? Not everything's an all day hold, right? So backside on the 5, respecting the 5, backside, hit the pop, high a day. Just like the other one, right? The other one was the 1 minute, deviated off the 5. Daily chart made sense, broke the 1 minute, hit the pop, risk either the lower high on the other one or the high a day. It broke the 5 minute later in the day, went to our PT. TBIO was from the other day. We're just using the 20 SMA as just a what? A point of entry. Is this an entry method, right? No perfection. Doesn't always work. Of course not, right? But it gives you good risk reward, and it gives you a way of actually knowing when to enter instead of just randomly entering, getting out. Randomly entering, getting out. I can say one thing from my own experience, right, fellas and ladies? More times than not, when I don't have an entry method and I'm reactive to trading, I'm more of a reactive trader. I find that by the end of the day, I pike the chart, I pike the trade, and I completely miss the trade. So this gives you a set way of getting in with a set risk, set PT, as long as the daily chart context makes sense, right? TBIO on the 26th, okay? Let's go to it. Now, let's say that it's not breaking down the 5, it's holding and it goes and spikes. All right. Some people say look for the failed breakout or something like that. I won't trade it. Just look for this 20 SMA, right? I usually do an average spike, but if you can't do all this stuff, just wait for the 20 SMA to come to tuition and line up for you and just wait for that. Will you miss plays? 100%. No guarantee, no ifs or buts. You're going to miss plays, right? But if you just wait for this simple entry method, when you do trade, you will have good risk reward and it'll be very easy, right? The problem is people want to trade everything. Therefore, not everything, even though things do fade all the time, it doesn't mean it's the trade you should be in. It is what it is, right? You're going to miss plays. Okay. So let's go to TBIO on the 26th. This one is opening at the 5. Daily chart makes sense. Gapped into bag holders. This previous fail. Bag holders. Not enough. There's not a lot of volume in the pre-market. Right. It broke down the 5 minute. Right. Boom. Short the pop. You could risk this lower high. Right. You could risk 540. You get in at like 5 over under 490. Never perfect. And you hold. You can hold to the end of the day. You could take some off at the 5 minute 200, but at this point it's too close for me. Maybe I would have took off a quarter and hold the rest to the end of the day. Right? So this would have worked. X-Cur, right? History of failing, big wicks, history of failing, big gap up. 919, right? Now, does it give us an entry method? Oh, it does. Look at this, 5 minute. This you could short pre-market. Now, fellas, I don't short pre-market because I back tested this. The 5 minute traps a lot pre-market. So it could look like a breakdown, then it traps and squeezes. There's more confirmation and higher probability waiting for the open. So you get the breakdown, you short a pop, or you could short pre-market. And then you could risk right up here, this lower high, lower low, lower high. Could risk here, hold to end of the day. Now, is this 50 to 1 risk reward? No. But this is realistic trading. And this is, I know exactly where to get in. I know where to get out. I know where, you have all that gray area that people, honestly, more times than not, they don't have the answers for this stuff. Right? Will you miss trades? Yes. guaranteed, 100%. MNPR, these are all recent. These are this month. MNPR, big gap. Now it's a big gap, and this is on 912, gapping into resistance. Right? You do your criteria, make sure it fits. Look, 5-minute breakdown, short of pop, risk high a day. Boom. BCTX. This is the 1 minute because we're deviated off the 5. So therefore, we're going to go to the 1. If the 1 breaks down, we'll get in, and then it should break down the 5 and fail. And this was from the beginning, 20 SMA, 1 minute. Respecting, breaks down, lower high, lower low, short of pop, you could risk 2. Or you could risk 210. I mean, at this point, lower high, you could risk 210. Risk 10 cents, maybe slippage, and this would have been an outlier. So yes, you can have outlier risk reward trades, but sometimes you will not. Sometimes you'll have 2 to 1, 3 to 1. If you risk 10 cents here and you held, you would have had a 10, 11, 12, 13 potentially to 1. So yes, of course, sometimes there are outliers with great risk reward. A lot more times than not, there's just not. And that's how I use this. This is a simple entry method for day gap shorts. Remember what I said, context, is this a short, right? And then entry method, risk, price target, either 5-minute 200 EMA or some end of day. That's entirely up to you. And that's all I do. Very simple entry method. I'm currently short. I'm currently short Ben F at the moment. I wonder what it's doing. From a 211. I don't know. From 211, I'm short. So I'm just going to hold it. I'm going to hold this down to the 5-minute or end of day, whatever. And that's really it. I'm going to hold it down to 150s from 211. And that's it, guys. 20 SMA. It's very simple. It's very straightforward, and it's not perfect like anything, but it's a way where you know how to get in, where to risk, and most people can't tell you that. And a lot more times than not, reactive trading for a lot of players in the game, they get themselves in trouble because they're reacting and second guessing, and you don't want to be that guy that you made the right choice, right? Like, look, break down. You can short a pop. I shorted up here, but you can short a pop. Risk high day, right? You don't want to be that guy where at the end of the day you're like, look, man, I covered at the top, right? I got in at 220. I covered at 225, and now I missed the trade because I don't have a sound methodology that I'm comfortable with, right? So I'm piking, right? This gives you a way of not piking. So I hope this helped you guys, and yeah, I'll be coming out with more videos soon. And yeah, take care. I hope it helped. Hey, look, if you guys have any questions about this, because I know everything from my point of view makes sense, but of course, if you have questions, you feel more than welcome to just message me, okay? All right.